Let's move to the back end of the defense now, and let's start with the linebacking core. This is another guy that we absolutely love to talk about, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Ashley, you had mentioned that there's a world where fans maybe sit back and they talk about, oh my gosh, I saw this defense, and one of the names you mentioned was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. What does his second year look like? He is probably the most fascinating player on this defense going into year two.
I just think more of him and more of him, I think from what we've heard people say, like Joe Woods and him say, and what we saw him do last year, like I do think maybe they use him blitzing more. And I think that makes sense. And again, like I've talked about this before, like watching some of the games, rewatching some of the games from 2021, like you see the little impact he would make, like that wouldn't show up on a stat sheet, like, and the way he would just disrupt plays, and it wouldn't be there at the end of the game, but when you're rewatching it, you see it. And like, I think he's going to take that next step again, just because he was one of those guys on this defense who missed a lot of time for fluky reasons. And we know what that can do to rookies. And he still really performed and kind of maybe exceeded the expectations I think they had for him. A big part of that is the way he looks at game prep. I think it's huge that he already has, his little system that he uses. We heard he fills up notebooks before each game. He gets up at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. before game days to watch film. Like he's doing all those things that I think it's kind of rare for younger players to do. And he just has this skill set where he can do just about anything they need him to do on the field. He can drop back in coverage. He can rush the passer. He can do all of these things. So I just think you're just going to see more of him, because I think is going to be on a path to being healthier this year in terms of not having those fluky things like a weightlifting accident and the ankle injury and the throat contusion and getting COVID, all those things he dealt with last year. We're just not seeing so far. So I just think overall, as much JOK as you can get is good for the Browns and good for him.
Mary Kay, Kevin likes to talk about guys who are all about ball. And just when you hear Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah talk, it just sounds like this guy is focused fully on football. Like as a player, just everything he does off the field, his diet, his mind's just everything is like focused on him becoming this like elite football player.
Yes, he's so incredibly dedicated. And I really do think he's on a Pro Bowl trajectory. I really do. I think, he went through a terrible tragedy in the offseason. So hopefully he'll be able to, to overcome that and to deal with all the things that he's having to deal with relating to the loss of his brother tragically. I think that he should be okay. But that's a lot for him to deal with. I mean, that is a lot for him to deal with. But I expect that he should be able to, maybe dedicate the season to his brother or something like that, and go out there and play some really, really good football this year. He's an extremely spiritual young man. He's pensive, he's thoughtful, and he puts everything into the game, as you mentioned. So, and the thing this year is that Joe Woods is ready to give him more. Joe Woods likes veteran players. He likes guys that know where to be, when to be there, and how to do this NFL thing. And he's leery about throwing rookies out there before they're really ready. And he mentioned that all year long last year. But I think now he's ready to give JOK more. And I think JOK will rise to the occasion.
So the question here specifically was, will Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah become an elite linebacker? And this is the player the Browns have been searching for, I feel like, since they came back. I mean, every year fans have said, like, this is what the Browns need on defense, this sideline to sideline disruptive linebacker. And it's funny because, going into that draft, everybody was saying, well, the Browns would never draft a linebacker. But I think with JOK and with other players they've drafted, it's just clear it's not that they wouldn't draft a linebacker. It's just got to be a certain type of linebacker. And he's, Mary Kay, he's what they envision at that position. And I do think this is the year where, even with Anthony Walker, even with Jacob Phillips, who we're going to discuss here in a minute, it's going to be JOK. He's going to be the guy that's on the field the most of all these linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, he's that hybrid guy that can do all those different things for you. And it seems like if the Browns hit on this the way they think they did, they really truly believe that they got another first round player in the second round, and that other teams kind of whiffed and blew it on him. And he could be the sort of linebacker prototype of the future in today's game, where you have to do all of those things and you primarily have to be good versus the passing game. And so, he's going to set the bar high, I think. And I think he will be an elite linebacker in this league.
Yeah, this is like, Ashley, this is the Joe Flacco question. Is Joe Flacco elite? Are we going to be saying, is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah elite this year?
I mean, he's well on his way, I think, to having that conversation around him. And it's his versatility. And, Mary Kay mentioned Joe Woods likes veteran guys. He also likes versatile guys. And JOK really, really fits that mold for them. And I do, I agree with Mary Kay completely that he might be the prototype kind of the future. And we might see more, kind of JOK carbon copies across the league if he is as effective as we think he's going to be. And I do think like teams are just after that kind of versatility now, and the Browns think they've found their guy in that regard. And as long as he has some longevity to him, yeah, like why not? I just love everything he brings so far and everything he's brought as a rookie.